currently serves as the CEO of Background Check International.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's edition of Through It All with Kola Olugbodi. For tonight's episode, I'm going to be sharing with us my session at this year's Lofty Heights conference. It happened in January. I spoke so extensively on you fighting the good fight, fighting to obtain all that the Lord has in stock for you in life. I am so sure that by His grace you'll be so blessed as you watch and listen to this video. Remember to subscribe to my channel. Remember to like this and share with others that you believe will also be blessed by what I spoke about here. Thank you very much. God bless you. So let's go.
Mounted there. He currently serves as the CEO of Background Check International, Nigeria's first exclusive and broad spectrum background check organization. He is also the chairman, board of trustees of HRV. CNBC's West Africa Entrepreneur of the Year Award finalist. PSR National Development Merit Award in the sphere of background checks, screening and verification services, and the Rotary International Achievers Merit Award. Kola was a speaker at the 2018 edition of the Excellence in Leadership Conference and annual.
All the sessions had been so fantastic. I hope somebody got something here. All right, I'm going to start with a scripture. Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God and are called according to His purpose." The area I want to emphasize in that verse is actually, "and we know." You actually need to know. You need to let it settle in your heart that no matter what happens to you in life, it's going to work together for your good. So that at the end of the day, you're going to be better off. You understand? So we're talking about self-leadership. And there are times it's not because you don't want to lead yourself, but some circumstances are taking over your life and they are leading you the way you don't want to go. Let me tell you one thing. It's going to get to a point you're going to take your life back and you can say, no more. I know where I'm going in life. I know where I want to go. You're not going to mislead me. You're not going to take me where I don't want to go. You understand? That is like the summary of my story. You understand? I was told that I had polio at age 2. My mother said one day I was on the potty and then somehow I fell over and she pulled me up and the 2 legs were gone, and they took me everywhere. Eventually they told them to go and test a labor. You understand that? Test a labor, for those that don't understand, this can't be handled medically. Go the way of the traditional way, And so the first man, at first everybody believed that it was polio, that it's just one of those things that happened. But the first man they took me to that was trying to take care of me, suddenly just developed chicken pox. And so the day my mother took me there, the wife said, no, it can't enter. And my mother said, at least I can enter. So my mother entered and said, what happened? And she said, overnight, Onwaye came. Onwaye means witches. And they said, why are you treating that boy? Don't you know he's our own? And so for him not consulting them before treating me, they had to discipline him. So Outside they were saying chicken pox, but he said they flogged him overnight, you know. So, of course, everywhere they took me from there to one Afar, and the Afar said, no problem, we just need to do on-two on you. And they did the on-two and everything, and before Afar finished his ritual on me, Afar died. And they said, this one is Obatala. So they carried me from Afar's place to Obatala's place. And the Obatala said, yes, he has spoken with Ifa, and they have told him what to do. So he told my great-grandmother, come for a concussion on Thursday. If he takes it, everything will be okay with him. Obatala priest died on Wednesday.
The same way you all are saying, imagine being seated in an aircraft 36,000 feet above sea level and reading all these things. Go ahead, sir.
All right. It was as if my life ended before it started. You understand? I was just 2 when it started. I remembered that when I was 5, that was when I became conscious of the fact that I had this disability. I was not like my siblings. I was not like every other person. And all right, so one thing that happened when I discovered, when I discovered the difference in my life, I was young. Are you listening to me? But even from that young age, I think Pastor Dami mentioned it. From that young age, I told myself, my life is going to be relevant. This disability is not going to make my life to just end up by the roadside, begging for money, Babianla, Shanumi Tori alone. You understand that of a thing. So from like age 5, I started fighting. I was fighting my condition. Somehow, I didn't know what was going to be ahead of me, but it occurred to me so early in life that I was going to be so disadvantaged in life if I don't start doing something. So I just discovered that from childhood, I started fighting something that I didn't see. I started telling myself, I have points to prove. And then the climax came when I was 8 years old. You can see me talking about, I'm 57 now. I'm going to be 58 this year.
Come on. How many of us are 57 here, except from Mrs. Ojoya way here? If you are above 57, can I see your hand up here? Okay, there is a mama over there. Can we celebrate our grandparent here, please? Celebrate her, please. Celebrate her. Are you alone over there? Please come forward. Ushers, can you please lead her forward? Lead her forward, lead her forward, lead her forward, lead her forward, lead her forward. I've been telling you all about honor. Some of you don't really understand it. Please come forward too, ma'am. Come forward, come forward, come forward. Let them sit somewhere in the front here. Create a space for them. Thank you so much for coming. That's over 50-year-old woman. 50-year-old coming for programs as this. Okay. Okay, thank you so very much for coming. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Go ahead, sir.
All right. So when I was 8 years old, I think that was when the whole thing came to the climax. And you've heard many people talk about discovering yourself. My own self-discovery started when I was 8. I'd been observing, but that was the climax. Our parents took us to the village. I'm from Osun State, one village there. And we went for Christmas, and the Christmas of that year coincided with Masquerade Festival. And then one of those days while at the village, myself and some of my cousins and some relatives, we just said, let's go around the village, see some uncles and aunties. And we had gone far from our family compound. Suddenly we had this drumming coming from nowhere. And immediately the drumming started, the masquerade came, And people started running. And we that came from Lagos were asking them, what is happening? And they said, that masquerade was not supposed to meet anybody on the road. All right, so everybody ran, including everyone we left my family compound together. Then I was supposed to run also. I forgot to tell you that the 2 legs were paralyzed, but they took me to one witch doctor in one deep forest around Ifo. And he was able to appease the ayes. So they released the right leg. And the left leg is still paralyzed till today. But they know what their eyes have seen. All right, so the masquerade came out, everybody ran, then I was supposed to run. And then running for me was to hop on the right leg, that was okay. And then because there was fear in the air, I will run, I will fall over, I will try to pick myself up again. Then of course I started crying and screaming and just begging anyone that would just care to help. And the help did not come. And then suddenly I just discovered that when you were crying because of fear, and then you now start crying because of disappointment and betrayal, because I just felt, oh, so nobody cares. And that day, at that very young age, I told myself, I said, oh, I now understand the way life is. So in life, if you think you want to depend on people or you need them most, they're going to let you down. So I told myself, I'm not going to trust people. I'm going to go through life and I'm going to make it in life. It was that day I just made up my mind and I said, of course, before that time, I'd enjoyed a lot of pity party. Hey, yeah, you don't understand. But from that time, I said, I'm not getting any yeah from anybody again. Don't tell me Pele again. I don't need any pity party. And I just discovered that this can-do spirit came upon me. Those things I'd not been doing because they said you have a bad leg. Yeah. I started picking them. I started doing them. You understand what I'm trying to say? And I discovered that I just wanted to prove to people that, oh, you all deserted me, I was fighting the whole world because they left me to the masquerade. I said, I'm going to prove to all of you that this disability or not, I'm going to become somebody in life. You understand? So I had a can-do spirit. Don't tell me, Kola, you can't do this thing. Even some things that were mad. One day I just stood at our balcony, first floor, and I looked down and I said, I can get down from here and nothing will happen. I was that daring. Now, let me tell you, when you talk about self-leadership, many of us, you have lost the radar to your life now, and you don't know where it's going. What you need to do is go back to how it used to be when you were younger than this. You understand? Those days when you were still daring. Those days when there was nothing called impossible. You understand what I'm trying to say? Of course, when those days, I just need somebody to tell me you can't. And then I looked to the other side and I saw one of our neighbor's daughter. And I said, Kemi, I can jump from this place to that place and nothing will happen. And she just said, oh, do. And, I just came up.
But here's someone that you cannot do that. You cannot jump.
You see, I'm saying that because, yes, I jumped. And for me, it was a big achievement. Because they have told me you can't do anything good, even though I wounded myself. But for me, I discovered that, oh, all right, so Kola, you can be daring in life. Let me tell you, I still dare, even at 57. You understand? The things I do, some of you will be amazed at. So what is driving you? Before I was 50, I was trying to prove a point. When I became 50, I told myself, you have proved your point. Now live your life. So now I'm living. I'm living my life to impact others. You understand? I'm living my life to tell people that no matter what you have gone through in life, it's not going to end for you this way. You understand? No matter your situation. I know for some of us, they've been talking self-leadership, and you are just telling yourself, all right, somebody is in control. So how can I be myself? All right, I think I should let you talk.
I actually desire, because I think I'll just take it from this book, all right? And there were quite a number of stories there, that really struck me. Number one was how you picked up a vehicle to say you can drive, and you were going to drive. Please share that with us.
All right. So growing up, secondary school, I have 8 other siblings. 8 of us are guys. The last one was the girl, because she's gone now. Our parents were in search of the girl, so they had 8 guys. And then my father started training the guys to drive his car. And then when it came to my turn, he jumped, then went to my younger.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Those are my siblings.
Those are the siblings.
Every one of us, we are all entrepreneurs. We refuse to work for no one. All right. So my father was teaching every of my siblings to drive, and then I knew he jumped over my head and came to my younger brother and came to the next younger brother. And I said, Emilokon, And you know what my father said? He said, Kola Wale, you can't drive this type of cars. And he was trying to console me. He said, when you grow up, you'll be rich. Then you buy automatic. Then you can drive yourself. I just smiled. Then I no more argue with people. When you tell me you cannot, I will just smile. And I will look for ways to prove to you that you are wrong. So anytime my father parks the vehicle in front of the car, we go there. I was studying it. After I started putting on the ignition, then I was trying to just say, okay, 3 pedals, you have 1 leg, 1 bad leg. So how would you drive it? Okay, this one will work on the accelerator. The clutch, is it the clutch? Yes, the clutch is always the hardest one. The brake is in the middle. So I was trying many things in front of that place. And so later I discovered that, yes, you can hold this, your bad leg, and press it on the clutch and hold it there. Then you can use this one to change the gear and return it back to the steering. And that was how I taught myself to drive that car. It was not easy. It was not easy. I will try the thing with jack, drop. In fact, there was a day, the first day I told myself, yes, I think I can link the road. So I left the front of our house and I linked the road, and I got to a railroad. A car was in front of me. Somebody driving on the road for the first time. Then a train was coming. The guy was hesitating whether to go over the railroad before the train comes. So he was hesitating. I didn't know what to do. So by the time he made up his mind I was going to go, he just went, and I got to the railroad. Then the car was in gear 3, and I've slowed down. So the car just went off. And then the train was coming, and everybody gathered and was saying, jump down, leave the car, run away. Number one, I can't even run so fast away from the car. So my best bet, and then I was just thinking, I stole this car out. I must return it back intact. And issue that you can't was not an option for me. I should be able to do so. So the train was drawing so close, and then when this train saw a car on the rail, then it was hooting the horn. It was coming so close, and I was saying, Kola, you can do it, you can do it. Then I will put on the ignition again, press the clutch, the thing will jack to the front, jump back. And I said, okay, so what should I do? Then I just looked at the gear And I discovered I was in gear 3, so I had to quickly change to gear 1. Then used hand to press the clutch, put on the ignition. As the car was jumping off the railroad, the train just went behind me. You know, my life had always been a daring
You can thank
life.
God for his life. You can thank God for his life.
I grew up to discover that life is full of challenges. Only the weaklings will give up without confronting it. Do you understand? If you think life will just work out for you like that, I don't know. Maybe it was only me life was not that easy for. To get a wife, you know.
No, I was going to get
You're going to get to
I was
that.
going to get there.
Okay. Should I wait for you to mention?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead now that you are there.
Now, you see, what I'm driving at is that for some of us, you may not even have any disability. Maybe because of your bringing, maybe something was not just right. And your life is not going the way the lives of other people are going. And you're already giving up. Don't give up. We're ready to fight. I keep saying fight. I've fought for 57 years and I've not stopped fighting. Because I keep finding different challenges coming my way. And I will just tell myself, I've fought lion before. I have fought bear before. Goliath, Oya, come. That's the way to go in life. So, getting a life partner, at first I thought I became a Christian along the way. Got born again, you know. So that way, God helped me to refine those my hardline life. I was still an hardliner, but now a refined, born again, you know, getting born again. I was a believing unbeliever, you know. I believed in Christ, yet I would say, is it just this simple? So the day I read Bible and I read Mark 16:17, it says, these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name, you will cast out demons. I say, I will catch God in this one. And then you will cast out demons, you will speak in tongues, you will lay hands upon the sick, they will recover. You will, who is the other one? You will drink harmful things, it will not hurt you. So I said, okay. So getting born again, I said, this demon thing, if it can happen, then I will believe in Jesus totally. So I started running after demons. Just to show that my life, I just kept on doing what is not, what others will not say, won't want to do. So getting a wife for me, I thought it was just going to be so easy. There was a lady that I ministered Holy Ghost baptism for. Then she became my mentee, and then we were doing good. And then, you know, thoughts started coming that, and she's likely to be my wife. And so, of course, I proposed to her, and then she said no. Clap.
Calm down before you clap.
You know, I proposed to her, and she said no. And, you know, you can read the rest of the things in the book. I felt so sure that it was her. Then I went back again, and then she still said no. So I felt, okay, it's time to move on. Then I prayed and felt it was another wonderful sister. And I approached her, and then she said no. You know, when the second sister said no, then I sat and I said, so Kola, what is the problem? I said, oh, okay, it's your disability. Your face may be fine, but when they get to the leg, it is not fine. And I told myself, Kola, it's not going to be easy for you to get a wife. If you think it's just going to happen the normal way, you would talk to a lady and she would just say yes. Please don't think about it. I told myself. And so I took it up. First in prayer, then the words of my mouth. They overcame. By what? I started telling myself, Kola, you deserve the best woman as your wife. You're going to get the best wife. She's going to be the best. If I talk to a lady after now and she says no, I will tell myself she's saying no because she's not the best for me. Wow. Not because anything is wrong with me.
Wow.
I don't know whether you understand what I was doing.
That's some gem for some of y'all singles here.
You need to change your mentality. As a man thinks in his heart, so are you. If you think you are the problem, you are the problem. Then I said, no, I'm no more the problem. Anyone I speak to and say, no, you are not good enough for me because I deserve the best. I know. All right. It's not easy. Don't say yes, sir. Because there were a lot of other no's. To cut the long story short, I just got so sure that the first lady was supposed to be her. So I kept on going year after year to trouble her. And then the fourth year I went back and I said, so what are you still saying? And then the fourth year she now said, if it were other years, I would have still said no. But now I think I will say yes. So you don't give up in life so soon. Are you listening to me? Because they told you no somewhere, it's not the end of the road. Are you listening to me? Some of us, you keep running from one place to the other because they said no. I've gone for an interview before, Brogwenga. I went for an interview, and then I came in with my walking stick, and then the panel, they just looked at themselves. And I've gotten that severally, so I knew what they meant. So one of them just said, oh, all right, Mr. Olugbodi, welcome. You came for the interview. I said, yes. He said, will not waste your time. You'll be out of this place in 5 minutes. Of course, I knew what they meant. We are looking for animal with horns. It's not this type of your own horn. How can a snail come to the place where they are asking for animals with horn? When they said that, I smiled. Because they only saw my appearance, they don't know who I am. When they started, when it was 30 minutes, they were not looking at time again. 45 minutes, 1 hour. Then they went to call the CEO. And of course, I got the job. The problem was that they could not reconcile this personality sitting down with the things I have achieved. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Never make anything in your life as an excuse. It's going to pull you back in life. You understand? Just like what ID said. The things you took for granted, maybe the grant you are going to need later in life, but you have wasted it. Do you understand? I don't care what people say about you. What are you saying about yourself? It's the way you call your calabash that people will help you call it. So, by His grace, the person I pursued for 4 years eventually said yes. And we've been married for 28 years now.
I'm sure they would get the book, and read more. But even after getting married, it still wasn't easy.
Okay. At Fort was at every point of my life. To give birth to children was another war.
That's what I'm referencing.
See,
y'all need to get this book. If you can, get more than one. Give it to friends to read. Buy for a friend who feels limited as a result of their background, as a result of their deformity, either physical, emotional, psychological, or whatever, as a result of their lack of proper academic qualification. Someone needs to read. Did you hear all that he's been saying? Right? At every point, he was facing battles. And this man would just tell himself, nothing is big enough to stop me. That's why he can be here right now. There are many many people like him who perhaps this moment, they cannot even sit on a platform as this because they took life the way life came. Don't forget, I told you this when the conference was to open. And I say this, I repeat this at every gathering, every conference. Nobody owes you anything. If you won't take something out of this, take that out. See, I'm saying this so frantically speaking right now because some of the things he wrote in here, I can relate with them. I'm from a polygamous home. Sometimes I know some of all these things and how tough things can be. Before you are able to wash your head off and break free and break through. Guys, you need to fight. And in case you've been sleeping, you've been doing suffering and smiling, this is a new year. You need to take your life, take the bulls by the horns, and ask yourself critical questions concerning your destiny. What am I going to make do of my life? Otherwise, you would end up living your life the same way as the people of the past. But there is something strategic, something important, something key, something unique, something totally different about your life. If you continue to continue to give yourself excuses, your life will fall the same way, that in the same pattern, in the same line. Those you know their lives are falling. See, I didn't read what I'm sharing with you in any book. The Lord told me. That was when I gained admission into our institution of learning. If you know you want your life to be different, take the bull by the horn. Listen, I don't blame anybody for whatsoever thing that happens to me in my journey in life. And frankly, few years I've spent on the first surface of the earth, I've faced quite a number. I've faced quite a few. So when people see me like this right now, doing some of all this, listen, Bible says since the day of John the Baptist, the kingdom of God suffered violence. It says only the violent one take it by force. Listen, if you're a believer as I am, all those eat, drink, 24 hours a day you are doing, yet life is not moving in the direction you want them to move. Discipline your body. Fast. You will not die. Do biri. Go on mountains if you need to. Fast and pray. Wake up in the middle of the night. Talk to God. Get up or ask yourself questions and break free. Listen, I can stand here before God to testify to you. Listen, there is a level of breaking free you break free that the demons from your household would even know that you've escaped them. They have no control over you anymore. I can tell you that because I faced some of all these things. You see all the suffering and smiling, a little folding up of arms there, little folding up of arms over here, and they say why? It's because of my background, because of my dad, because of my mother. My parents divorced. My father's brother in the village, did something to my father. All those balderdash. Listen, if any man be in Christ Jesus, church, he's a new creation. I don't want to preach yet. We have a few minutes to do that. You can see the band out here. Sir, please go ahead, sir.
All right. I don't know what you're wanting to say again.
Sincerely, while reading this book, I was trying to mirror your life, with some of the things I had faced in my own life. I'll read, I'll flip through, I'll read again, I'll flip through, I'll read again, I'll go back again. And I was like, just one person, facing all these things.
One of the scriptures that consoled me at the point was when I stumbled on it and it said, many are the afflictions of the righteous. Mm-hmm. The Lord delivers him from them all. So I just know that, all right. So it has been destined that, yes, the afflictions will come, but I will keep overcoming in them all. You understand what I'm trying to say? I'm saying some of these things. Let me just encourage you. That is my own story. I don't know what your own story is. But let me tell you, you may think you have gotten to the tail end of your story. You are still in chapter 2. You understand? You do know how long I've been going through it. Actually, you are in chapter 2. Because unless you give up, I know your story is supposed to end on a glorious note. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
If you don't give up.
If you don't give up. If you keep pushing on, if you tell yourself, this is not going to eat me down, I'll keep going on. I got married and then suddenly I went and the doctor said, Mr. Olugbodi, sorry, you won't be able to have any child in your life. In fact, you won't be able to impregnate any woman in your life. That was the way the doctor said it. You understand? If you can't fight in this world, I'm saying fight. I'm not talking about physical fight.
Yeah, spiritual warfare.
The weapon of our warfares are not carnal. Yeah. They are mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, bringing unto captivity anything that tries to exalt itself above the knowledge of God. You don't know there is a battle. Me, I know. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I know my weapon. And I'm using my weapon. And against all odds. Yes, it took 7 years before we had our first child. But against all the things that medicine said, we had the first child. And then we went back to hospital and they said, oh, we don't know how you had that first child because your situation is actually totally hopeless. And then 7 years after the first child, we had the second child. So it took 14 years to have the 2 children. You understand what I'm trying to say? There are some things you're going to confront in life. It may not happen immediately, but hold your ground. And that's what they call self-leadership. Self-leadership, you know, reading the Bible, God was telling the children of Israel, I'm giving you the promised land. It's flowing with milk and honey. And then they were already dancing the Kai. Let us enter. And they sent out spies. And the spies came back and said, God was just planning to go and kill us. That place is full of giants. We saw the sons of Anakims there. And they said, when we stood beside them, we were like grasshoppers. And when they looked at us, they were seeing grasshoppers. We cannot enter that land. There is no milk and honey that is meant for us. It's meant for them. There is nothing good that's going to happen to you in life that you won't need to fight. Eventually, they are in that promised land now. But to dispossess everyone in that land, they needed to fight. So if you are not hearing anything I'm saying today, what are you hearing me say? You must fight the good fight of faith. Fight your life. By His grace, like Yorubas will say, me that they should have sold and used me to buy lantern. You understand? Suddenly, God now gave me an idea. I was just praying, and God said, I'm going to start something entirely new through you in Nigeria. Nobody is doing it.
Yeah.
And suddenly, God just gave me the idea of what I'm doing, and then nobody was doing it. And He started a whole new industry through a wretched, let me use Amazing Grace language, a wretch like me. God used me to start a new industry in Nigeria. Brogbenga Toto is one of my clients. And suddenly, everything started opening up. You were seeing my resume, they were saying US. It wasn't US at any point. It was when God started turning the captivity. You understand? It was like dreams. When they started inviting me to you and say, oh, they say you are doing background check in Africa. You're the first one in Africa. Come and tell us how you are doing it in Africa. And they called me to US. And after that, then the US government said, we need to see that guy. And then US government invited me again. And then I was looking at myself and I said, all right, so what am I doing right? What was I doing wrong before? The only thing was I stood my ground. You understand? I stood my ground. And at a point, you know, there was a revelation, one of who the Ayes was, and then when she died and everything, and I said, oh, all right, I thought they would still be alive to see what God is going to keep doing. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You need to keep leading your life, no matter the terrain. You understand what I'm trying to say? No matter the terrain, no matter what you are confronting in life, it says you are more than conquerors. He has declared you a winner, even in this battle. If you lose, it was because you gave up.
Wow. Let me give someone in the audience an opportunity to ask Mr. Olugbodi question. Anybody? Can I get an usher with microphone? We're just going to take a couple. There is this part of this book. Now, for you to ask questions, you must have bought this book. If you've not bought this book, don't ask questions.
Let them ask.
Okay,
Then they will
ask.
buy after.
Okay. Mercy has prevailed over judgment. Because that's how serious this book is to me. All right? And he's discounted it. What you should have bought for 4,000 naira is now only 2,000 naira. So meaning that if you need to get it elsewhere after this moment, it's revert to 4,000. Sorry. 4,000 naira. If you're watching online, go on Amazon. I bought my copy on Amazon. I can't actually remember how much it was. All right? And you can do that too. Okay. Let's have questions. Please hit the nail on the head. And
straight to the point. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the great work you're doing, sir. The first time I actually met you was at Daystar Excellence in Leadership Conference 2017. And
2018.
2018, yeah. So I started following from that time, and you've been so much an inspiration to me to break loose from certain things that have been holding me back. And my question to you right now is, at those challenges, I've actually purchased the book, but I'm yet to read. But at this, what's it called? The faces of your challenges, those stories as you move from one level to another, what actually keeps you going? You keep saying fight, but at a certain point,
what's the impetus?
Beyond your network of people around you, sometimes your network might not help you to move beyond certain level. But how do you face those things? Even though you are Christians, you still have self-doubt sometimes. So how do you overcome the self-doubt aside from this fight approach?
All right.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Now, you see, one of the things you need to discover by yourself, they have spoken so much about self-discovery today. Who are you? What are your values? What are those attributes that God has inputted into your life? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I know I'm somebody so resilient. I know I'm somebody that will never give up. I don't start something and because it's not working, I give up. No, I don't. Then because of my disability, they didn't give me a chance. That's why I said, I have a point to prove. I'll prove to them that in every area they said, you can't do it, I will do it better than what they are. So it's more of me discovering who I am. I'm not going on in life aimlessly. I'm not fighting like somebody beating against the air. I know where I'm going. Are you listening to me? I know where I'm going with this life. Somebody interviewed me recently. I said, these are your successes. I said, who told you I'm successful yet? You don't know where I'm going. You say I'm successful now. Wait till I get to where I'm going. I know where I'm going. Because I know I'm still much more bigger than this. I started a business, and then the business, just went under. And after it went under, I went to God and I said, God, why me? And God said, he just gave me a story in the Bible. The story of Saul and his father. The donkeys of Saul's father got missing, and he went in search of the donkeys. And instead of him finding only the donkeys, he found a throne. And so when the business failed, God said, you have lost donkeys, but you are going to find a throne. So I've kept on getting the donkeys that got missing, but I have not found the throne. So I know where I'm going. You understand? Someone said, well, you're on the throne yet. I say, Lord, for me, I know I've not gotten to where I'm going. So you must know who you are. One of the songs that became my anthem was this Sinach song. I'm walking in power. I'm walking in victory. I live a life of favor. I know who I am. Take a look at me. I'm a wonder. It doesn't matter. See now. Sincerely, I know who I am.
Amen.
So who are you? You can't lead yourself anywhere.
If you don't know who you are.
You don't even know the road you are on. So where are you driving to?
I think to just also buttress that, time is gone, so I'm only going to be able to take one or two more. Would be that, you see, of all that he's been sharing, if you are very sensitive and all, you will see that Christ is the anchor of his soul. When he was talking about fight, and it was explicit, not physical fight, a war. Okay, you either fight with God or you fight it with the devil. All right, Christ is the anchor of his soul. If you want to get to that level where you would be able to say, this is what is going to be, I'm taking my life back, you must have an anchor. Bible says faith is therefore substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It's the substance, the very foundation of what you're standing on. Otherwise, you'll be fighting in the air. I think we should take one or two more, and it has to be direct, it has to be very simple and straight up. Very quickly, sir.
Yes, good evening, sir. My name is Kingsley Southbank. I'm an educator and a radio presenter. My question is faith-based, sir. It's faith-based. You talked about growing up as a Christian and all of that. My question is this. I grew up, I'm a Christian, and for a long time, I always believed in learning from the Bible and following what the Bible says and all of that. I attend a Pentecostal church. Now, in life, as a young person, when you've gone through life probably for years and then things are not working, you mentioned the fact that for your issues, you were taken to some spiritual places. As a Christian now, my question is it recommendable for one to visit a seer or someone to see into the future? Because sometimes for a longer time, you are trying to do what you know how to do. You have knowledge, you have expertise, you have skills, but things are not really working. And then you're thinking, should I try to see into my future, or should I just keep doing what I'm doing, and then maybe God will show up, maybe after 15 years of doing something, and you're considering, should I meet someone who would see into the future, who would help me see? Probably I'm not seeing or hearing from God about certain things.
It's okay, I understand.
Let's make it faster. So that,
yes. Now, my parents were not born again. I was not born again those times I was going to see those people. I didn't even know they were taking me anywhere. You understand? I got born again the first year I got to university. That was when I was 19 years old. I led my mother to Christ. I'm still struggling to lead my 91, 92-year-old father to Christ. So please, if the devil is dealing with you, and then you now go back to him to say, help me look at it now. What is dealing with me?
Yeah.
It's going to deal with you. You understand? Please, please, if you're a child of the living God, let's even assume that God will not answer you. Say, God, I will perish on your neck. Right. Rather than carry yourself to Babalawo's house. Do you understand? How do you start in the spirit and finish in the flesh? God forbid. That's what Paul said. You don't do it.
Darkness,
so I think that's the answer to your question. Please don't go to any soothsayer.
Please don't.
They will see. And I tell you what they will see. You will never be able to see it. So don't try it.
Okay.
Yeah, Mrs. Sojoya, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olugbodi. I just wanted to add to what he said regarding his question. And I was just telling Dami, I said that's his candidate for speaking.
Right.
He started with something. What's the Bible verse that he started with? Romans 8:28.
Yes, God causes all things to work together for good.
All things are working together, but for those who know their God, they will be strong and do exploits. You must know your God. You must know who you are. You must know whose you are. You must know what you stand for. If you don't stand for anything, you will fall for everything.
Exactly.
I told you there then that just because we carry it well does not mean the load is not heavy.
Exactly.
Last month I was at live series with Ibukun Awishika. Resilience was the theme of the thing. Everybody has challenges. In this world we have not problem,
tribulations.
His is different, yours is different. The guy who just spoke is speaking from his own.
Yes.
That is why you need to have an anchor.
Yes.
Whatever you want to hook your hope on,
Right. Just get an anchor. Hook it
before
somewhere.
the devil will give you upper cut. Please.
I feel led. Yeah, you can clap. You know, I feel led to just further encourage someone. This is a spiritual house we are in, and those of us bringing this session to you, we are Christians. You know, my brother Dami Oluwatoyinbo earlier on jokingly said, "You're a man of the spirit." You see, the spirit life for a believer is not what we put on; it is who we are. All right? You can't say, "Spirit, stay back at home, I'm going somewhere." It is me. And I perceive that the Lord would have me emphasize a little bit on this fetish, unclean approaches to greatness and to success in life. Listen, even to some of you who are pursuing, going after false prophets, you know them. And the way to know them, you know, it's very easy. It's to checkmate their life against the standard of the word. And you see a very big disparity. This word is for someone here under the sound of my voice. What if I tell you that the reason why you've remained bound is because you've not allowed Jesus to have his way? Listen, you cannot call on Jesus in January, then take your legs again to those dirty, foul, smelly, space or places in February. It's not going to work. God is either going to be the God of your life, or he would leave you to do whatever thing you want to do with your life. I want to beseech you by the mercies of the Lord, and I'm speaking to you from experience. Darkness cannot expunge darkness. The only thing that has the power to expunge in darkness is light. Bible says the light shines in darkness. It says darkness lacks the capacity to even comprehend it. You know that what you're facing is a spiritual battle. Yet you keep running after those who have no power to save you. Because take a look at their lives. Take a look at their children. Take a look at their environment. Does that even depict or, refreshing, the kind of life you want to live? I'm trying to be careful. Okay, so there is a lady here. You were given a powder to always rub on your face with the hope that it would attract man unto you. Listen, after you've heard me share this right now, if you do not stop, it's going to affect your marital destiny. That sister too is under the sound of my voice. You've done certain things in respect to a particular brother, some guy somewhere. Somewhat you've gone to tie him, or you've gone to enter some covenant and all of those. You need to break free. I'll pack it. Femi, I hope you are ready, right? Yes. Let's hear. This brother here is visually impaired.
All right. Thank you very much.
So I believe he would better relate to most of the things you're sharing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kola, for your time. And it's good for we getting your own perspective to fighting in life. But as a person living with disability, most especially person living with visual impairment, we all know that we are limited to having jobs. Even though we have crazy ideas, we have crazy visions and all things like that. How did you start your industry? Because we might have all these big ideas, but we have to get some fundings for we to start all these companies. That's just my question, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Maybe share some challenges, how the business started.
Yes, I need to tell you that. You see, when I got the idea, I got an idea that was alien to the Nigerian market, and then I started going around to tell people I have this idea. I want to start doing background checks.
Sorry, so do you mind, just for the sake of someone who is still a student, does not understand the nitty-gritty of what you do you mind just sharing?
Okay, I will tell you what I do. You understand? Telling people that this idea came to me, and of course, some will ask, what's it all about? I said, background check is all about verifying people's claims. if you're looking for a job and you present your resume, organizations will ask for your credentials, and normally they pass it to a background screening complaint to vet whether truly you attended that school or not. Places where you have worked in the past, they want to confirm, number one, if truly you worked there. Then number two, how you left the place. Then if you are going to be handling very sensitive duties, they may need to check your address and be sure that where you claim to stay is where you stay. We may run criminal record check on you, check with the police, check with the court if you don't have any criminal issue. So basically that's what background check is all about. You know, so I kept on going about and trying to get people to buy into the idea, because I got the idea when I didn't have a kobo. I had the idea, I didn't have money, and I was looking for people that will have money. I wanted to learn from that, my brother. You understand? I got to a person and I said, and when I told him the idea, you know, if he laughed and he said, who is doing it in Nigeria? I said, nobody. He said, actually, that is my own problem. If your idea is going to work in Nigeria, somebody will be doing it before you. You understand? Then I went to one of my friends who were in Ife together, an executive director. I said, this one is into business, he will understand. And when I explained the idea to him, he too laughed. I said, bro, okay, where do you get these weird ideas that will not work? You know? So I know that I'm on my own. I have an idea, I don't have money. So where can I leverage? I walked up to my cousin. I said, Kayode, can I use your desktop? And so his sitting room became my first office. Used his desktop, used his printer, print out my proposals. Thank God I taught myself how to drive. I would drive around Lagos dropping proposals. You understand?
What year was this, sir?
That was, I started December 2003. That's 20 years ago. You understand? By January, I was still sending out proposals, still trying to see if anybody is going to buy to the idea. Nobody was. You understand? Then I bought a phone. That's when you do some daring, nasty, crazy things. I had a multi-link phone, so my car was the office. The phone was always in my office. So anywhere I drop proposals, they will call. And when they call, I was the CEO, I was the driver, I was the business development, whatever. Yes, I was everything. So I wanted to create, and business is all about perception. I wanted to create that it was a business. So when someone calls, I'll pick it and, hello, this is Alexander from Background Check. How may I help you? I said, we got your proposal. Can we speak to Mr. Olugbodi? I said, hold on. Then I will pause. Then I'll come back. I say, hello, this is Kola. How can I help you? I'm Alexander Kola Wale Olugbodi. You understand? So Alex was just my PA. Kola is the CEO. You understand? It was like that. I was in the car and a call came from Unilever. Alex handed it to Kola and they said, come for presentation. And I said, Kai, presentation, this thing that they said won't work. And I knew it was a multinational, so I can't work there like a one-man riot squad. So I had to tell that my cousin, Kayode, you are following me somewhere. You are a member of Background Check International from now. I told that my younger sister that is late now, Romoke. And then I told one of my brother's wife. So I said, all of you are following me for presentation. We are all from Background Check International, dressed corporately. When they ask general questions, everyone answer. When they ask technical questions, keep quiet. And we got the job. And not long after that, I got a call from Fidelity Bank. Sincerely speaking, the job started coming in, then multi-choice. I still didn't have a office. And then I added spouse background check to it.
Oh.
You know, because so for the spouse background checks, people say, oh, can we come meet you in the office? I said, okay, now problem is coming. So I spoke to my elder brother. He spoke to one of his friends. That one has an office in a computer village. So I told him I will always come in when I need to meet with a client. And so he gave me a little space. Then one big client was coming one day, and I said, Uncle, there is problem. That corner place where you gave me, if that person sees me here, they will know that Isabelle complained. Yeah. That uncle said, no problem, no problem. He had a very big office. He left his office. He said, come and sit on my chair. I sat behind his chair. Very wonderful office. And the client came in and they looked, and I was able to price very well. And jobs started coming in. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Then some of the people I've told before now came back and said, Kola, this idea seems to be working. I said, yeah, I told you it was going to work. And that was when people started investing. I mean, they said, can we invest? I said, why not? It was when we gathered the first 5 million that we got our first office. And I was the only staff, even with all the people. I was the one going all over the fields and schools to do verification. So I tell my staff now, I have like 100 staff now. I tell them, don't come back and tell me, okay, you don't understand. Because I was the #1 business development officer, operations officer. So don't tell me. I was even the one keeping the account. I don't know whether you understand me, my brother. You don't need capital to start business. You need idea. Capital runs after good idea. Are you listening to me? Now we've done the business, at least when it was no more me alone, I alone. Now we've done like 18, 19 years. We only declared loss maybe the first year of business. By the third year, everyone that invested into the business, I paid them back the equivalence of their shares. So 5 million went back to people in 3 years. Meanwhile, their money was still with us, and they are all still with us except for 1 or 2 that left. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You may want to talk to somebody or talk to me after now, and then we can take it further from here. But please, for every one of us, don't bury your idea because there is no capital. You sweat whatever, and sweat capital, and then the real money capital will come.
We're just going to have Benga Totoi just say a few things, and we'll call it a wrap. Okay. I'm not sure who also has... Sorry, before... Okay, go ahead. You go ahead. Please make it fast. Yeah. Time is totally gone.
Thank you very much, sir, for such an inspiring session. My question is very introspective as regards the family. Because understanding what you've said so far that has blessed us so much, I think I can infer that your family was very supportive. That's your brothers and your siblings and parents. So I listened to Pastor Nick a lot, who has an impairment and all of that. So he said how that his family was very supportive regardless of all of that. So I want to ask, what happens to people whose major source of attack is coming from, say, their parents or from the inner circle, like inside the family? How do you, because Watchman will say you don't have to disrespect constituted authority to obey God. Now we're going through the God route. How do we maintain that sanity in the family and among siblings and yet prosecute what the Lord has asked us to do? Thank you so much, sir.
If it's coming from inside, then get out and look for friends.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
You don't just stay there when you know this is where the battle is coming from.
Yeah.
There are people that father and mother had actually denied them. And God said, I'm going to take you up.
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
If it's me, I won't stay there. But thank God my own was not coming from my family. They supported me. You understand? And they are still supporting me even up till now. We are still together.
Amen. Binga, very quickly.
Okay. the side of the question around businesses and all of that has been well dealt with. It was just the concept or the word job that is said that I think I still want to address. And I need a number of us to understand that the idea of work in itself has changed significantly. The moment he opened his mouth, I just told Kemi here, what a wonderful voice. And so, what would have been, I don't know the kind of jobs or aspirations that you have, but for God's sake, consider being a voiceover artist. For God's sake, walk into any agency and help them with jingles and things like that. I know, for instance, in the last 5 years, and I was privileged to be with you on that panel, the last 5 years or 7 years, when we now have a bill in Nigeria supporting disability, there's a lot more work going in that direction. So I know schools, for instance, that are for developers, and they are helping people learn how to code who are on wheelchairs. I know people I know laptops and equipments that you can use if you can't see. So I just want to draw attention back to that. Work is not a place, it's not a thing you go to a place to do. Work is anything you can get done and be rewarded for which you have competence. So you have something, sir, that you can use and convert to work or convert to business. And that's it. You can be a broadcaster, you can do voiceover, you can get involved in advertisement and brand and marketing comms. You can be an advocacy person on issues of disability. And that are the things that we can do. But let's look at the concept of work, not just from a standpoint of a thing I go to a place to do, but something that I have competence or capability to do, and I can do from any goddamn place.
Awesome. Mr. Olugbodi, very quickly, sir, your final word. My heart is very full of joy, just being seated here with you and, giving me the opportunity to be able to also give the opportunity to everyone under the sound of my voice right now to pick from your wealth of wisdom and your life experiences. Because I know without any iota of doubt, something is changed in someone's life. I'm very certain about that. I'm very certain about that. Your final words, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Pastor T. I'm going to still use the scripture as my final word, which made me to understand why I'd gone through all I'd gone through. 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 3 and 4. It says, thanks be to God, the God of all comfort. He comforts us in our troubles, so that we also can, after we have been comforted by God, go and comfort others that are now presently going through the things you are going through that God has comforted you of. You understand? Yes, so now I know where my self-leadership, whatever, is going. I've given myself to comforting people that have gone through the things I've been through. Now, at a point I was praying so much, God heal this leg, God heal this leg. Then I later now understood that if God had healed this leg, there are a lot of people living with disabilities that I would not have been able to connect with. So what I do now is I sit with somebody trusting God for the fruit of the womb, and I said, I know how you are feeling. I've been there. I sit down with people living with disability and I say, I know what you are going through. I sit down with people trusting God for life partners. I sit down with people that have been in debt. I sit down with people whose businesses had failed. And I can say, I know what you are going through. Come, let me coach you. You understand? My own coach, maybe I'll sit down with Tricia after now. I've been doing it freely, you have received, freely give. So maybe there are some aspect of it that I can dollarize.
Yes.
All right. So please, what I'm saying in essence is that you are not in this world because of yourself alone. When you discover who you are and you start leading yourself aright, it's so that God can use you to lead other lives. David was in trouble, big trouble, and he was running. And the Bible said he was hiding in a cave called Cave of Adullam. And 400 men came to him. They were debtors. They were people distressed. There were people discontented with life, people that were tired with life. They came to this man that was also running away from somebody that wanted to kill him. At the end of the day, he sorted all of them out, and they ended up becoming people that the Bible called mighty men of valor. So you need to discover yourself very fast, because many lives are waiting for you to come up so that you can help them discover themselves also and make them become mighty people. So you have pitied yourself and looked down on yourself and compared yourselves with others long enough. Now, start asking questions, who am I? And find out who you are and live your life. And God will help you. God bless you.
Oh, wow. Yes, thank you for that standing ovation. Give it to him, give it to him. Give it to him, give it to him, give it to him. Give it to him. I just want to say thank you to you, sir. You know, we have this token for you. You know, Minister Dunsin, please come forward. Can you celebrate Minister Dunsin, please? He's one of my ministers at our church in Canada. I'd like him to do the honors of this presentation. He's one of my most trusted hands in ministry. When God has called you, you also need to pray for the gift of man. Okay, himself and his wife. They've been sent to Canada for such a time as this.
So, just want to say this. Are you in the cave of Adullam? And your response will be to fight. So, Mr. Kola Olugbodi, in honor of your immense contribution in Lofty Heights Conference 2023, we present this to you.
Thank you so very much, sir. So we can... Awesome. And I have this token for you too from David Wedge. Please bring this up. Can you please celebrate him, please? Please pack that carefully. And this carefully.